Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life bringing you the AA word of the day. And the word for today is material and spiritual well being. Today is March 21st, 2025. It's a Friday. And this is the quote: "Fear of economic insecurity will leave us." And this is the daily reflection on that. Having fear reduced or eliminated and having economic circumstances improve are two different things. When I was new in AA, I had those two ideas confused. I thought fear would leave me only when I started making money. However, another line from the big book jumped off the page one day when I was chewing on my financial difficulties. For us, material well-being followed spiritual progress. It never preceded it. I suddenly understood that this promise was a guarantee. I saw that it put priorities in the correct order, that spiritual progress would diminish that terrible fear of being destitute, just as it diminished my many other fears. Today I try to use the talents God gave me for the benefit of others. I have found that is what others valued all along. I try to remember that I no longer work for myself. I only get the use of the wealth God created. I have never streamed it, owned it. My life's purpose is much clearer when I just work to help, not possess. And it is starting to get windy. And hold on. The other day, I read the 12 promises, and I'll read again the 10th promise. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. I was very, very lucky in my career in banking when I worked in IT. I wasn't involved in money end of it, never really touched money other than checks that people sent in. But I was paid very well, recompensed. I had a good job and I did not lose it because of drinking. There's a concept in AA, and it's called high bottom and low bottom drunks. If you went out, got in an accident, was jailed for drunk driving, maybe hurt someone, those people would say he's a low bottom drunk. If you had a good job, never really lost anything physical due to drinking, never lost a house, never lost a wife or children, and just that you came in because your mind was going, then some people would say you're a high bottom drunk. I don't know if that distinction into two kinds of drunks is valid. I came in because I needed the program. That's all I can say. I did not want to be the person that I was becoming or had become. I just didn't want that anymore. And I didn't have any jackpots. I've never been arrested. That's all I can say. I never had physical things taken away from me because of drinking. But I felt so bad. You know, there's a saying from one of the songs, I don't know if it's Bob Dylan, but I was so low, the gutter looked like up to me. And that's the way I felt. It's honestly the way I felt, and that got me in here. And I'm glad I didn't suffer some of the consequences that other people suffered. But what got me in here was real to me and just as valid for me. Uh, but I could read the writing on the wall, and I knew my job wasn't going to last forever because the banks were merging. This was in late 80s, early 90s. I had already worked there for 20 years, and I got switched around, banks going up. I ended at Bank of Boston and in South Boston, Morrissey Boulevard, and still I was being paid very well. But I could see the writing on the wall, and I would say within 4 years, that whole place, that data center, became a little place for Bank of America. And none of the people that were let go because of anything they did. It was decisions to merge for economies of scale, as they used to say. Things will get cheaper, and of course they've just got progressively more expensive. Nothing's cheaper in banking. It's more computerized. They know more about you when you go in for a loan than you know about yourself. And so I wasn't even surprised when I lost my job. I wasn't surprised at all. I knew it was coming, and I had a game plan. I had become sober, and I was able to think in the future. I made a game plan. I went back to nursing school. A company hired me and said, "We will pay your health insurance, and we will give you a severance pay if you stay with us till we close the doors." And I said, "I will do that." And I did it, and they paid my health insurance through nursing school. I didn't have to worry if something went wrong, and it's a big consideration when you're a type 1 diabetic that you have help getting your insulin and you have insurance. Because without the insurance, those little bottles that they make, vials of insulin that they charge you $600-700 for, probably they cost $5. And there's not any human involved in the production of the insulin. They insert the gene into bacteria who just constantly, their whole lives, as long as they're alive, produce insulin. They put the human gene into the bacterium. They get the liquid, they freeze dry it, they send it where it's going to go, and go to the United States, they reconstitute it, and then charge you $600-700 for a little vial. I thank the last president for getting the price down for however many vials you need to keep you alive to $35 a month, which the rest of the world is paying. So that's what I have to say about that. So I always found a job, and getting sober really, really helped me focus on the next job that I needed. And it was a much less pay, but I had health insurance, and it was very close to my house. I'd say less than 4 miles. It was a warehouse for a major grocer in the Northeast. And I did that. I was never out. I promised them I'd stay there, and I did. And when the head of that became the head for the whole IT head for the whole grocery chain, he offered me a job out of state, and I told him my plans, that I was going to become a nurse, and that I very much appreciated the offer, but I wanted to finish my education and get on with my life. I figured with nursing, with my license that I held individually and not attached to a company, that I could get a job anywhere. And it's been true. And I still hold my license. I do all the CEUs every year, 24 here in Florida. So I can't say that I had the fears of economic insecurity. I just didn't have them. I had paid off my house. The biggest thing for me was tax on the land. But I can see people. What am I going to do now? I got a bunch of kids. I got to bring home a paycheck. I can see it. And but even for those people, if they grow spiritually and you believe in God's word, those things will be taken care of. And I've known many people, worked with them, who were in that same position and found a way through spiritual progress and were able to get jobs and, maintain themselves. So while I can't say that I had that economic insecurity, I know for sure many people do, because their drinking caused them to lose a job, may have led to marital breakup because they couldn't support a family. So it is true. I'm just saying I don't have that much experience with the economic insecurity, but I believe that others have. But when they follow the AA plan, things do get better. And your thinking about it does get better. So you're more willing to accept a lower paying job to get back into the job market than that attitude when you were drinking. I was making $40 an hour. You think I'm going to go back to work for $20? No way. And then just collect jobless benefits till they run out and then be without a job, without income. There is so much depth of knowledge in AA that I once had a teacher who said, if you're in AA, that's the most wonderful thing in the world, because you have the knowledge of all the people that preceded you in books, and it really is true. So that's it for me. Have a safe and sober Friday. Friday was the day I get primed for the weekend. I'd start drinking. And if I hadn't already passed out, probably go out Friday night and drink some more, come home, pass out, get up Saturday, do the same thing all over again. What a wonderful life, right? So God bless. See you tomorrow.